Hello there, it's Trudy, and I am here with Money Matters Mondays. It has been a while. We've been away for a bit, had some technical issues, but we want to make sure that we get right back and we're able to actually talk with you about some things. There are so many things that are going on right now that are happening in the marketplace that are causing a bits of uproar. We've all heard about a lot of the things that are going on with Brazil and with Russia, with Asia, China, and all these different nations that are coming together to cause or form their own types of currency that could affect the US dollar. These things, oftentimes, there's so much that's happening that we've already been exposed to that we're not even really prepared for. So it's just like to be watchful for your things, to be diligent and to make sure that you're making wise decisions with your funds and how you're spending monies and making sure you understand how to make your dollars last. Learning to not make major purchases right now, because we're just in such a volatile time right now. But to be, just really diligent and manage your things well, you know, just like the Joseph anointing. It's just like make sure that you're looking over your harvests and making sure that you're putting things back for the lean times. And we just all need to really start actually putting those things in practice. I'm not here to scare anybody or give them any insight like I have an insight on anything, but I just know that the way the economy goes, it goes in cycles, and that we have good times and then we have bad times. So you see it happening on the stock market. You have bearish times, means that you have to just grin and bear it. You have bullish times where you're just breaking through and busting through everything. That is just the cycles of economy. But I just, a couple people have asked me about the new thing that's going on between Brazil, Russia, and China, and Asia and India, and all these different people anyway. But all we know is that we trust and believe in God, that God's economy is better than any economy that we could ever have, and that we put our trust in Him and that He will take care of us. But we have to be wise as well, that when we start getting things and they start to come, that we are not to go out and just splurge on things. Make sure that you start doing basic principles like our ancestors did, that every dime that they got, they didn't spend it all. They always kept something back for a rainy day. And we need to get back into that particular practice, because we came to a point of opulence where there was no division. You people would buy things that were totally out of their range, that they would give up months of salary to just have a luxury item, that they would walk around with a $3,500 purse and wouldn't even have $10 in the purse. So that kind of nonsense makes no sense. So it's just a check and balance for us to be able to make sure that we look at what's going on, that we're wise about what's going on, and that we start to plan for a rainy day. Make sure that we have storage for those lean times. Okay. Another thing that has been coming up that I got a couple of questions about was the difference between pre-qualifications and pre-approvals. So pre-qualifications, what actually happens, as I've told you guys many times before, is that your data is what is worthwhile. You know, your data is what's worthwhile. That is exactly what it is. And that the companies, they all bid on your data. So this is how you're actually getting information that is actually coming in the mail. Because what they've gotten is they get a gist of how much money you're making, where you particularly are. You don't have bankruptcies or anything like red flags that would throw you out of the particular soup of it. It's just an ingredient, the soup of it. And if you pass those things, then you're fine. Then they can take a chance to send something out to you. And you usually see that you're targeted by um, either credit cards that are not going to offer you a high uh, type of balance. Most of the time 500, maybe 1500 at the max. But it always goes down to that when you read the fine print, it always talks about that you have to have credit scores of usually what does not happen, or people don't have those credit scores. Um, to actually get approved for these things. So, as I've always said, read the small print, because when you get down to it, usually tells you that you needed like a 700, 720 to actually qualify for these things. So, all it is a pre-qual, is something to pique your interest, to say, oh, they sent this to me. Maybe I can get this, or it's something that I want to look at. And then you still have to come back, because they won't approve you without further information. Pre-approvals, on the other hand, work this way. You have to prove additional documentation. You're going to provide information on your credit, because they're going to do an actual credit report, a pull on you, which is called a hard inquiry. So they'll pull your credit. They're going to ask you to verify your income. They may ask you to verify funds that you have in the bank. A lot of people think that it only applies to mortgages, but it applies for other things too, because if you're going to a credit union and you want to get pre-approved for an auto loan, it works the same way. You have to provide the documentation to prove that you're worthy of this particular extension of credit. As I told you before, they really don't care about anything but if you're going to pay their money back. And are you going to cover their profit margin that they're looking for, which is generated by the interest, how much they charge you for using their money. That is basically how all of this works. And with a pre-approval, basically what you do is you nullify all of these different questions. And now you have a solid commitment from an institution that says, this person has met all of our measures and they are worthy to be lent a certain amount of money up to whatever that you actually qualify for. And then when you're going to approach a car dealer, or even if you're going to buy a house, when you come with a pre-approval in hand, you get a lot more attention, because they know that you've seriously prepared for what you're trying to endeavor in, and that you're not going to waste their time. Yes, I said it, waste their time, because you have not done the things that you need to do to make sure that you can actually qualify for these things that you're looking at. They've also told you in those pre-qualifications, in the pre-approvals, exactly how much you can afford. So there's no out here wasting half a day going and looking at cars that you cannot afford, or looking at homes that you cannot afford. The pre-approval tells you an exact amount of where at this particular point, based on your income, based on your credit, what you can actually afford to have. And that makes everybody much happier, because most of the people that work in these particular industries, they're commissioned. So they don't get regular paychecks. They get paid by selling items. So when they know that they're spending a half a day with someone, it's worthwhile, because they've already done the preliminary things that need to be done to make sure that they're a viable borrower, and it's actually up to them to find a product for them that matches what they are approved for. So that's basically how that works. Anybody that tells you anything different, mm-mm. just look it up. It's common knowledge what it is, but oftentimes people try to rope people in with these things, and that's how we get into sometimes very bad deals, because we get caught up in our emotions. We want something so bad, and then just like car dealers, you want a car so bad. I know I want that car, and then they come out with these astronomical payments, and then because you're so caught up in your emotions, you agree with what they're saying, even though you know it's going to bend you over backwards trying to actually keep up with this car note. and it's way out of your range. And common logic kind of leaves you because you're just caught up in the emotions of it. Sometimes that happens with housing too, that people see things that they're like, I want a house that looks like this, I want a house like, and then when they get there, they're miserable because every month they're worried about, how am I going to make the house note? So these are kind of things that, little tidbits to actually know that when you go in, make sure that you're pre-approved for whatever you're going to get, because it makes your life so much simpler, and it makes the life of the salesperson simpler as well. And you can meet in the middle and negotiate with all integrity, because they know that you have something that is worthwhile and it's worth making the effort for. Okay. So this is all for right now. We will be back. We have some great things coming up. A couple of speakers that will be coming. They're going to be talking to us in regards to gold. So that's going to be very exciting to hear that information. And there's so much more that we have lined up. So I just wanted to come back as the beginning of June to start again with Money Matters Mondays, to make sure you know that we're still here. We're just working on the background, trying to make sure that we have viable information for all of our members so that you can learn something. I'm about making sure that we can learn things all the time. And this is what we are endeavoring to do. Okay. So God bless. I will talk to you again. Look out for announcements that are coming in regards to the actual meeting that we're going to have with Ron Baxter, is his name, that he's going to come to us in regards to gold and silver and different precious metals. So it'll be interesting to hear this. Okay. So have a good evening. Bye.